Y'all asked for a few more Baba Yaga tales. So I'm sharing a few that I aired on the Clock app last year. Hopefully. They're kinda long, so I might have to split them into parts, or you might be better off watching them on the long form app. You'll note that in some of these tales I use the American pronunciation, Baba Yaga. I didn't know any better at that point until I was corrected, and by the third tale I come around to, I think, a more correct pronunciation. Today I'm sharing Vasilissa the Beautiful. Once upon a time, a recently widowed merchant remarried. Unfortunately, attempts to blend his family with his new wife's family weren't going well. You see, his daughter Vasilisa was stunningly beautiful, and her stepmother and stepsisters couldn't fucking handle it. The stepfamily set the girl out on every rough errand they could think of. They forced her outdoors to work in hopes her flawless skin would burn and wrinkle and callous. They gave her all the heavy lifting in hopes her luscious figure would wither away. They'd make her grovel in the garbage and muck, hoping that the stench would overpower her allure. But nothing worked. In fact, Vasilisa only grew more beautiful. And this was because she had a secret weapon given to her by her mother on the woman's deathbed.
"All right, my dear. It's time for me to die." "But why, Mother?" "I'm a mother in a fairy tale, dear. The odds were never in my favor. But keep this little gift to remember me by."
"A creepy doll."
"Not just any creepy doll. If you feed her, she will help you in your time of need."
Sure enough, it was the doll getting Vasilisa through her daily grind. "Thanks for the grub, babe. I'll take care of collecting that firewood for you. In the meantime, put some aloe on that sunburn and don't forget to moisturize." Now, evil stepmother wasn't sure how Vasilisa was getting by, but she knew she needed to work harder to get rid of her. So, while the girl's father was away on business, the stepmother moved the entire family into a new dwelling much deeper into the forest. The very forest where the terrible Baba Yaga resided.
"Dear me, it seems we have completely run out of candles. Would someone be a dear and run to Baba Yaga's place to ask for a light? Anyone? Anyone? Vasilisa, thank you for offering."
"I didn't."
"Don't be afraid, dear. Baba Yaga's going to love you. She's just going to eat you up."
"Don't worry, Vasilisa. Per usual, I got this. Now bring on the pirashki. I'm a hungry doll." Vasilisa's journey to the witch was foreboding, but she was not alone. As she journeyed, she saw 3 horsemen ride by. The first wore white robes and rode a white horse, and arrived with the dawn. The second wore all red and rode a red horse, and he arrived with the sunrise. And the third showed up when Vasilisa reached Baba Yaga's home that night. He wore all black, rode a black horse, and arrived with the fall of night.
A little heavy on the imagery, no?
Let's talk Baba Yaga's house because the woman has style. Okay, so first off, she's got a great view sitting up high on those chicken legs. Not to mention she can live that on-the-go RV life without that on-the-go RV toilet. Her fence is charmingly wrought from human bones, giving it not only a distinct aesthetic look, but a clear keep-out message. Baba Yaga tops off the fence with glowing skulls and a lock made of human teeth, which I personally think is overkill, but you do you, babe. Vasilisa took in the sight of Baba Yaga's hut, then whirled around as she heard a terrible groaning of trees and whooshing of wind. Baba Yaga had arrived and she flew downwards. But this bitch doesn't ride a basic broom. She drives around in a mortar and pestle, 'cause she's spicy. "Who the hell are you?"
"Hi, I'm your neighbor. My stepmother was wondering if we could borrow a light."
"Oh, that old bitch wants a light, huh? Well, you'll have to work for it. And if I'm unsatisfied with your work, I get to satisfy my stomach by eating you up." The old witch had Vasilisa serve her a dinner that could feed a party of 10, and she ate it all up. Then she gave Vasilisa a chore list for the following morning, and it was pretty basic, but it did include one impossible task. Separate the bad corn from the good corn, kernel by kernel. I'm sure you're not surprised to know that the doll saved Vasilisa's butt, though she wasn't the only magical helper. Vasilisa also noticed 3 sets of hands appear out of nowhere, who helped with the chores while the doll sorted the corn.
"I did everything you asked, Baba Yaga."
"Well, that's disappointing. I'll call on my servants to get the bread started. Servants, it's baking time."
"Those hands look familiar."
"Shh. All right, tomorrow I'm going to need you to clean some poppy seeds.
individually.
The following day, the doll and the magical hands took care of the tough stuff, and that night Baba Yaga was once again wanting for maiden meat in her dinner.
Baba Yaga, can I ask you something?
You can ask, but I'm not required to answer.
I saw 3 horsemen on my way here. One in white, one in red, and one in black. Who were they?
Those horsemen were my faithful servants. Not so faithful. Shh. My turn for questions. How did you manage to get my impossible tasks fulfilled?
My mother's blessing carried me through them.
Ugh! Get your Christian nonsense off my doorstep. Take one of the glowing skulls off my fence for your lantern. I prepped it specially for your stepmother and her daughters. Vasilisa carried the skull lantern home, and for some reason when she got there, she tried to dispose of it. But luckily the skull itself stopped her. Girl, you went through all that just to throw me away? Your stepmother asked for a light. I am the light. Vasilisa brought the talking skull lantern inside and presented it to her stepmother and stepsisters.
I don't like the way that thing is looking at me.
Suddenly, fire scorched out of its eye sockets and burnt the stepfamily into a literal crisp.
Whoa! Okay, Skull, I'm not really mad about this, but I am gonna bury you so no one else gets hurt.
Yeah, that always goes well. I'm sure no one dug that thing up and lit it over a nice game of Jumanji. After her stepfamily's demise, Vasilisa was taken in by a kindly old woman. It was there she picked up a new skill, weaving, and she was quite good at it. In fact, she was so good, the old woman refused to sell the fabric she made at the market. She took it right to the Tsar himself.
Damn, this fabric is fine. Tailors, make me some shirts out of this. I'm gonna be the silkiest motherfucker in Russia.
The royal tailors, however, were too nervous to cut into a fabric so beautiful, and I cannot blame them as a mediocre seamstress myself. So it was Vasilisa herself who constructed some shirts from the fabric for the Tsar. And these shirts were so gorgeous, the Tsar had to meet her in person. The Tsar and Vasilisa were quite taken with each other. They eventually married, and when Vasilisa's father got back from his business trip— Wait, that man's been gone on business this whole damn time? What business are you in with that kind of commitment? He and the old woman were invited to live in the palace, too. As for the doll, Vasilisa kept it in her pocket until the day she died. I'm sure this is supposed to be cute, but this is how I picture it. Listen to me, bitch. I know every last secret about you and your supposed talents. Who was it that spent all night pulling rancid corn kernels out of the corn bin? Who got your ass through a dozen years of servitude with your cruel stepmother? Who really made those pretty silky shirts, Vasilisa?
You did, Dolly.
That's right. And don't you fucking forget it. Because as soon as you do, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you hard. And no food bribe is gonna save you this time.
Can I get you some flaming hot Cheetos?
Oh, my favorite! The end.